Okay. Test. Hello. Hello. Okay. Good. All right. So, welcome everybody, gringos, gringas, beaners, and beanerettes, to another El Racist Latino news update show. Today we're gonna talk about Charlie Kirk. It's all over everywhere. This text thread that Candace shared yesterday or the day before has exploded everything back into conversation. And so I thought we would kind of break it down, like why is this happening, or maybe even asking who is Charlie Kirk in the first place. Just a quick 5 minutes, and we're gonna look for it together. I know this case more or less. um, it's all very detailed. All this evidence stuff is really really detailed, and there is the bullet, and there is this uh, steel, bones of steel that deviated, and was it a 30-06 size bullet? Was it actually fired from this Mauser from the First World War, and that's why it had no serial numbers? There is a lot of nuance, the camera angles, and was it shot from behind, was it the out like actually not the inside wound but the outside wound, and yeah, was it Tyler Robinson, or why was he eating donuts a couple hours later? Like, all of this stuff is very nuanced, so I guess we're gonna just fact check all the information I actually have and learn together about how the whole thing is. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit. Then we're gonna check what is the FBI narrative. What are they saying? Who is guilty? Tyler Robinson, why? What is the evidence they have? What are the reasons? And then, of course, we're gonna talk about this other looming, uh, highly increasing motive that is Israel, which involvement had Israel. We now know for a fact that Charlie Kirk was changing his mind regarding his support for Israel, and the text message that Candace shared shows that. So we're gonna read the text messages and all that stuff, and yeah, give maybe also some context. What is the motive really? Because if you just see these last two steps and you say, oh, just because he says he's abandoning Israel, they killed him, like, so it's not that simple. So we're gonna take a look at all of it. And as a personal disclaimer, even before we start, I'm not saying that I support that Israel killed him. I'm not saying that I think Tyler Robinson did it. I honestly have no idea. Maybe I will find enough evidence for me to actually join a member or a team of the Who Did It Club. But so far, I don't know, because I don't know enough. Every time I try to jump or watch some news about it gets so deep and so complex that I'm just, fuck it, this is way too much. Like it's one piece of the puzzle in this whole thing that's going on around the world, and yeah, I want to pay attention to more geopolitics more rather than American politics for now. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it together. So, all right, we are gonna. Actually, I haven't done this before, but this is a really nice news source called antiwar.com. You don't see the whole thing. Let me give you all the view. There it is. So antiwar.com, and yeah, I use this a lot for the geopolitics. Is here, like they even separated geographically Latin American news, Russia, Ukraine, and just for political perspective, these are libertarians. And Scott Horton, who is like the CEO, president or something of the Libertarian Party, or like Dave in the same group as Dave Smith and Rand Paul and Ron Paul and all of these very political people, where I also kind of identify myself as a libertarian. So this is the kind of mindset you have to see this. It's not a lefty paper, it's not a right-wing paper, it's not pro-Israel or anti-Israel or anything. It's just basically objective news from the eyes of a libertarian, which is personal freedom, freedom of speech, and all of those. Like, you can Google it. So let's find first, if we're talking about Charlie, I don't know if they work. Where's the search? Oh, I never actually searched for a specific news before. I was just checking, like, whatever. So we'll do this another time. Let's what were we gonna check? Let's check first Charlie Kirk, kind of in a nutshell, right? Somebody gives us a, no, 26 is too long. So let's see, who is Charlie Kirk? CNN, no thanks. CBS, no thanks. No, let's try not to go. New York Post, yeah. Let's see. CBS. Why did Tyler kill Kirk? Yeah, I'm sure you know. BBC. Man, no independent has done anything on him. That's really sad. Everybody's busy trying to find out who killed him, right? That's Fox News. Okay, whatever. Let's just choose whichever piece, then it doesn't matter. Something like 5 minutes. Who was Charlie Kirk? Let's see how much we get
Charlie
here.
Kirk, a well-known conservative influencer, was just fatally shot during a packed town hall at Utah Valley University. Moments before the single shot rang out, Kirk posted a video tossing hats that read, "Make America Great Again," and 47 into the UVU crowd to kick off his American Comeback Tour in Orem, Utah. But who was Charlie Kirk, and how influential was he in the MAGA universe? Kirk, who was the CEO of the nonprofit Turning Point USA, rose to prominence on YouTube and on X, and became famous for his unapologetic and often boldly stated conservative opinions. The 31-year-old father boasted millions of followers and billions of views for videos in which he would engage in fiery debates with students, especially liberals, on college campuses. Some of his recent videos included Charlie Kirk hands out huge L's at University of California, San Diego.
A government-run program of education has been a failure in this country, and that's what President Trump is doing by abolishing the Department of Education.
And Charlie Kirk versus the Washington State woke mob.
Life should be the answer to rape, is what we're saying. And if a baby is conceived in rape, you don't all of a sudden say, let's do something more evil because something evil happened.
Kirk grew up in the Chicago suburb of Prospect Heights and founded TPUSA when he was 18 years old, growing it into a conservative powerhouse with a presence on more than 3,500 campuses. In February 2025, Kirk joined the Trinity Broadcasting Network to host a weekday talk show called Charlie Kirk Today. The conservative attended Harper College near Chicago, but dropped out before getting a degree, opting instead for a career in politics. Disturbing video shows the moment a shot rang out at Kirk's Utah event, causing the crowd to scatter. Kirk is survived by his wife, Erica Francevy, whom he married in 2021, and 2 young children.
Correct. So, Charlie Kirk, political commentator, let's say, political figure. At this point, the biggest, one of the biggest conservative figure, I guess, next to Tucker Carlson, and definitely the biggest young influence of conservatives. So on the right wing, basically. So 100% he used to do tours around the country, 100 university tours, where he would sit with this kind of change my mind attitude, and basically debates students about whatever they want. So wokeism, trans, and feminism, and religion, whatever. So all of these kind of conservative principles. And yeah, obviously it was very obvious that he won most of them. It's also not a difficult win in most of the cases, some of them, but in most of the cases it's not a very difficult win. But in any case, he built from the time he was 18. He created Turning Point USA and built it to a mega powerhouse of the conservative and Republican Party movement. Number one, basically, the mouth. If we can make a Lord of the Rings analogy, he's like the mouth of Sauron. I'm not saying Trump is Sauron. It's just funny. The mouth of Trump, if you would say it in some way. And and yeah, like, but really nice guy, very Christian, very religious, and yeah, regardless what you think of him or what people thought of him, I think he was a good person, and he was always pushing on the correct side. Like, even if we disagreed in some ways, obviously it's impossible to agree in everything with anyone. I would say it's very hard. I haven't found the first person that I'd agreed like on every single thing. So yeah, but in general he was pushing people towards in the right way, be a good person, no violence, free speech, and we can always talk about it, no violence. And yeah, basically he was trying to successfully being a bridge between parties, so we would try to understand each other instead of fight each other, which is obviously something as a libertarian that I support. So yeah, this is what he was doing basically. Then, you know what, I just thought there was let's start with this movie Conspiracy. There was this is gonna be funnier in X. There was this conspiracy that the movie Snake Eyes, a movie with Nicolas Cage from the, was it 80s or 90s? 27 years, so from the 90s. So this movie from the 90s called Snake Eyes, there was a conspiracy because there was a lot of things that were similar. So for example, um, Charles Kirkland, who is a Secretary of Defense, in that case like an official government position. Charlie Kirk wasn't, but Charles Kirkland or Charlie Kirkland gets assassinated at a public event, in this case at a boxing match, right? He's sitting basically second or third row from ringside, and the boxer's name who was fighting that night was Tyler the Executioner, and the main suspect caught was, his name is Tyler Robinson, and he executed, like he is the executioner in this case. And the it was also on 10th of September, but of course 1990 something 3 or something. And the killer in the movie, the killer was a Palestinian who was an activist, and in this case it was because the United States of America just approved a huge sales of weapons to Israel. So this is in the mid 90s, yeah. And some people say also that's a snake because it's the year of the snake or something, like, okay, if you want. I mean, I honestly, even all of this, maybe I miss one or two that also more things in common, but I think that's the main thing. And all of these conspiracies, man, like in this case, or coincidences, in this case, oh man, I just think it's a huge coincidence. I think it's just the universe showing us that we live in a simulation, you know. But Kim Iverson spoke about this. Like her take on it is pretty fun, and she said that maybe this is kind of a hitman that has this signature, like he kills people in this way. So yeah, I mean, everything is possible, you know. But I just think this kind of stuff, this kind of coincidences, this kind of Mandela effects or whatever you want to call it, they're just the universe showing us that, or God or whatever, that life is just a simulation. But that's the kind of conspiracy around this Snake Eyes movie and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now we're gonna go with let's see, Myron is actually good. He's normally his podcasts are way too long, but let's see, he's he normally, when it comes to criminology and stuff, he gives good. Is that it? I know. Can I latest? October 1st. This is the letter. Maybe we'll watch this later. 5 hours. You're right. Steven Crowder is reactivating. So this changed my mind thing. It started with him. He was going to universities and he was debating, sitting with people and debating them. And now, man, big balls of steel. Respect. Trump cooks UN, FBI cover-up of Charlie Kirk murder, Palestine recognized. Dude, but this is old. Let's see, let's check on Ian then, because Ian is definitely on the forefront, next to obviously Candace. Candace exploded. It's crazy. You go to her channel, man, like every video less than 24 hours is over 1 million views. It's just disgusting how many views. She's definitely at the forefront of the conversation. Also, she has the proof now. She actually released new evidence. So of course now not only in views, but when it comes to the journalistic research, she's also there at the front. I guess taking it away from Max Blumenthal, who started the whole thing. 1 day ago, 14 hours ago. So let's see. Let's see what Ian Carroll has to say. 14 hours ago, this must be. Uh, okay, this was this podcast from 3 days ago, which is over 3 hours, so we're not gonna watch that. But let's see
What do we know
one of the clips.
for sure about the shooting at this point?
Information is the oxygen.
This is good. This is exactly what we want to know. We want to know what do we know for sure, evidence, and he's probably gonna speak about the FBI. Well, I mean, the evidence that we have is all from the FBI, so I guess that's the. Let's see what he says. But we're trying to divide what we know with what the FBI is telling us. I mean, it's a very blurred line, I guess, because most of the information we know is because of the FBI. But we'll see how we can try to split it. Maybe Ian is gonna help.
Of a democracy.
With Republicans, with progressives, with libertarians, because this is not about right and left, this is about right and wrong.
We can't talk.
We know that there's some serious problems with the shooter on the roof narrative that they are trying to push to us. We know that it's very unlikely that there was a gun on the roof. We have tons of questions about how the gun got there, where the gun is in all the photos, why they didn't show us video of the shooter taking the shot itself, what the hell was he carrying in the video after when he was running down and jumping off the roof, because none of that looks like the gun. The photo of the gun that circulated isn't even the actual rifle. The photo of the gun that circulated is a other photo that the New York Post just pulled off the internet, because the gun itself is an old World War I relic that perfectly ties Tyler Robinson to the scene of the crime. We know that the wound itself, there's not a single expert online that is saying that wound matches a 30-06 at 140 yards. You get an exit wound, 140 yards, 30-06 to the neck. Basically, every ballistics expert is agreeing that would have an exit wound. There'd be blood splatter all over the back white wall behind Charlie. It'd be a totally different thing. And I'm no expert. I'm just listening to what the experts say, which is why I brought on expert testimony from Valhalla's channel today. So we got questions about what the wound is, whether it's an entry and exit, whether it's a smaller caliber. We don't know. That starts to make you wonder, is there a different shooting position? Should we be looking for
Yeah, this is one of the parts of the official narrative, right? That this is the entry point and there is no exit wound. So the bullet stayed in the body. That's what the FBI is telling us. And they also said that the kind of bullet was a 30-06. And of course, I know absolutely nothing about ballistics and all this shit. This I'm hearing for the first time, and I know 30-06 because I heard it already in the news so often. But apparently what I keep hearing over and over from people that know more than me is that there is no way that this bullet would stay in the body, especially if it was hitting the neck. And that it actually makes when you're using it for hunting, some expert hunters are saying that normally even with big animals it makes a mess. So there's no way that and then they came up with these bones of steel. Charlie was so healthy that his bones were so tough, like made of steel, and they stopped the bullet. So yeah, but let's see if he talks about the autopsy. But so far I heard that there's no official autopsy, so we don't know if the bullet they are saying is the actual bullet. And most people just think that the bullet went in and out. And there's this other theory that this is the exit wound, and the inside, like when where it goes in, there's actually not a lot of blood. It's just where it goes out that happens what we actually saw, which was horrible. I'm not gonna show that. If you wanna see it, you can go on X, and you can see still live the moment where he shot, and the blood, and it's really not a nice view. I saw it the first 2-3 times, and then I didn't. I have it in my memory already. I don't need to watch that shit again. So, okay. Let's talk about the bullet.
We don't know. That starts to make you wonder, is there a different shooting position? Should we be looking for a second shooter, or even for the actual shooter? Because we don't even really know if the guy on the roof that we were shown was a shooter at all, because they chose not to release the 3 seconds of video that they have that would have shown him taking the shot. Then beyond that, there's all this weird cover-up of like Tyler and his trans lover boy and his car being seen on CCTV footage at other stores like 15 minutes after the shooting, and then a couple hours after the shooting, and the whole timeline is getting very confused and very fuzzy. And everything that the FBI has said to us has then been sort of refuted and walked back in little pieces, and not at all, and it's just all very weird. It's all very weird. And meanwhile, we know without a doubt that they have the evidence that would completely debunk the conspiracy theories and clearly lay out the truth.
Yeah.
Whether that is the camera footage that TPUSA owns and has, 3 different angles, full 4K video that would clearly show the entire scene of the crime, the entire state of the injury, the nature of the hit, the bullet, everything.
Yeah.
We know that they should have an autopsy required by law in the state of Utah for every murder investigation of this nature. They should have an autopsy. That autopsy should have a detailed explanation of the path of the bullet, the caliber of the bullet, every property of the bullet, everything about the wound. We should understand all of that, and I'm sure that they have it because it is legally required that they do an autopsy. It's all so fishy. So fishy. And that's not to mention all the other stuff around it. Okay? It's worth noting that today I wanted my AI to analyze some elements of the case. And so I just started by asking it like a basic question about it all. Because it's kind of interesting what happened here. I asked Claude, based on the current body of evidence in the public square, largely being shared on social media, not mainstream news, what are the chances that Charlie Kirk was killed by a lone gunman, Tyler Robinson, versus killed by an organized conspiracy linked to intelligence agencies and potentially Zionist interests? Please cite your sources as clickable links. It did its thinking thing, and then its initial response, based on the public evidence available, the chance that Charlie Kirk was killed by Tyler Robinson acting alone versus blah, blah, blah. Evidence supporting lone gunman, very strong. And I went through all the reasons why it's very strong evidence that it was lone gunman Tyler Robinson. And all of it is just the mainstream media talking points. It's even citing the ADL and like factcheck.org and like CNN and all this bullshit. Conspiracy theory claims, no credible evidence. And then it goes through all of the conspiracy theory claims, and it's like citing the ADL and like NBC. So it says about 95% plus likelihood based on evidence that it was a lone gunman. And I'm like, bitch, get real. And I'm just never sourced the ADL again. They're an absolute inverse of a credible source. The ADL is a subversive propaganda organization working on behalf of a foreign nation and should be treated as an inverse indicator of truth.
Yeah, no shit. The ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, is what that means for those who don't know. And yeah, it's an Israeli and Jewish based organization. So
like, get wrecked, bro. But then it's an inverse indicator of truth. It's like, get wrecked, bro. But then I kind of went after the AI, Claude, because like, you're incorrect largely because you can't analyze video. And there's actually all of this evidence right in front of our eyes that AI can't even access because it can't properly analyze the video and actually think logically like a human. And so as I started to just list off the problems with the official narrative one at a time, it was like, oh shit, that makes perfect sense. That's a good point. That's a problem with my theory. Next point, like 30-06 round, it would create an exit wound at that range, no question. AI agreed. That's super fucking weird. All this
Yeah,
stuff
we spoke about that. We spoke about there's no way that this kind of bullet, the size of the bullet, would stay inside.
about the bodyguards, you know, just like piece after piece, the AI ones you give it that thing on in isolation of the actual what we're seeing in the video, it's like, oh yeah, obviously that makes sense. But the problem is that the mainstream narrative is all pervasive, and it's kind of being treated as though it was gospel truth, and everyone else is just moving on and ignoring the fact that none of it lines up, none of it adds up. This is the nature of the game these days, and I can't help but think that this is kind of the point, is that you can't ever build the perfect patsy story. You can't ever build the perfect cover-up. But what you can do is build a sort of maybe good enough for like a day cover-up, and then just flood the zone with conspiracy theories, and then hopefully trick all the normies into thinking, oh, it's just all the conspiracy theorists doing what they always do, which is conspiracy theorying. And it's like, I'm sure it's just, you know, I'm sure there's a logical explanation, a reasonable explanation. It's like, no, there's not.
That would be enough to collapse.
Okay, so what did we learn? We learned that what we know is basically what the FBI has told us. We don't know much else. They're the only source of information, so that's why everybody's blind. And that's why all these other conspiracies are running crazy. So we know that so what the FBI is telling us is Tyler Robinson at 200 yards or something, 140 meters, I think it was, or something like this, from the roof, shot Charlie Kirk on the neck. The bullet didn't exit, stay inside the body, and he, after taking the shot, he disassembled the weapon, apparently ran with the weapon covered in a towel or something, threw it on the grass, and then jumped from the ceiling to the ground. There's tons of videos of that. Let's see if we can find them quickly. Yeah, I guess this is the one. So, holy shit. Oh, that's too big. So, yeah, watch it like this, I guess. Let's see, do we watch? Can we see better like that? Oh no, we don't see it like that. Shit. Alright. Hey, whatever. Then I hope it's big enough. So it says, if the FBI won't release an additional 15 seconds of CCTV video footage from the exact same camera angle they already released footage from, and the footage these two additional cameras, we should assume that a foreign intelligence agency was involved, and this was a professional assassination, is what Ryan Mata's tweet is saying here. And here's Tyler Robinson here. I don't know what this arrow was, but he has here, you can see he's carrying a bag. Oh no, this is bullshit.
Tyler Robinson has partial paralysis in his right leg. Tyler Robinson has
No.
You can see when they interviewed Tyler Robinson.
Here. And so he shot the bullet from here, basically, on the left side. And now he's carrying something. They're saying that this is the weapon. So, and he jumps, and then he just fucks off and runs to the woods, is the theory. He runs from here, and there's an area. Did you see all of that? Yeah. There's an area there that is wood. And he assembled the weapon again and hid it in the woods. What's the story? And then apparently he contacts his at this point, let's not say anything about Tyler Robinson's political views. I'm just giving facts, but I guess you're gonna figure it out. He contacts his transgender furry boyfriend, so it's man to woman transgender, but also a furry apparently, and they start chatting, right? They start having these conversations over text, and conveniently Tyler Robinson confesses to everything, of course. So Tyler Robinson is saying to his roommate, who is the transgender furry boyfriend, drop what you are doing, look under my keyboard. What? You're joking, right? I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Autumn, I guess that's the name of the town, for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. You weren't the one who did it, right? I am. I'm sorry. I thought this is how Gen Zers. This kid is 21 or something, right? 22 years old. So, right? This is how two transgender gay Gen Zers speak. I thought they caught the person. No, they grab, not like nah or something. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had man, a police officer wrote this. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Oh man, who says vehicle, man? Why did I do it? Like the script, it's like reading a script. Yeah, I had enough of this. Can you see everything? I had enough of this hate threat. Some hate can be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. How long have you been planning this? A bit over a week. I believe I can. So this is basically the perfect everything the FBI needs. So they check all the boxes and they put it in ChatGPT. Hey ChatGPT, create me a text thread of this guy confessing. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car park right by it. So finally he said car, not vehicle. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. Blah blah blah. Delete this exchange. Yeah, sure. He's basically a serial number. They wouldn't trace me. I worried about prints. I'm worried about prints. The only thing left was wrapped in a towel, of course. That's what they show in the video. I'm gonna turn myself in willingly. I'm much worried about you. Don't talk to the media, please. Blah blah blah. So basically, everything that the FBI, the first page was the best one. Everything that the FBI needed, conveniently they got. So that's their kind of main confession evidence, kind of. I guess. I mean, we don't know much about the rifle either. We don't know much what truth it is about the weapon, and yeah, there's nothing about the fucking bullet. There is nothing about the autopsy. It's crazy. We have zero info. Now, the Israel point of view. So basically, was it Israel? So far, yeah, they're saying this guy was just a woke lefty. You saw the confession, because I cannot stand this hate anymore. Basically, just some crazy lefty dude. That's the narrative from the FBI. Solo killer, crazy lefty dude, too aggressive, too violent, blah blah blah. Like a lot of, there has been a lot of school shootings lately, and some of those school shooters have been transgender women, so men, two women transgenders. So I think one was the opposite. No, I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever heard of a woman school shooter or like serial killer or nothing. This is something men do. So it is what it is. And yeah, um, we're gonna go to the Israel then side. Okay, so what happens? First of all, Turning Point is a very pro-Israel organization, right? So this is the most important thing to know. They have always been pro-Israel, and basically they have been the young kids wing of the pro-Israel propaganda, connected also with the government Republican Party. So a lot of their donors are Jewish and are Jewish companies, and you know, as donors, they obviously they want to see their own ideologies push. Um, but this conversation about Israel has been growing without any control. It's just flames, just everybody's talking about it. Everybody's like waking up in some sense. And he's receiving these questions. He's doing 100 universities per year, as we spoke, and the students are no longer talking about immigration or transgenderism or conservatism, religion, or anything. They're speaking about Israel. It's like, dude, what is it with the genocide, man? And he doesn't have any answer. So he started being kind of the bridge or the mediator, let's say, from the end, like the second half of last year. He had a debate with Dave Smith and Josh Hammer, super pro Israel guy, and Dave Smith is a Jewish anti Israel, ironically. So yeah, he called himself. He's a comedian also, so it's fucking hilarious. He calls himself the oh man, what is it? What this guy? Day walker, yeah, he's a day walker. Exactly. So Dave Smith, the day walker, and and uh, oh man. So they, sorry, I'm just tired. So they had this situation, right? Oh, wait a second. We're gonna take a little break. Okay, so we're back. Um, so yeah, he started having this kind of, he was feeling the pressure from the people, and he started having these debates like Josh Hammer against Dave Smith back, I think it was September of 24. And then in January there was this huge um, Turning Point USA TP USA event. I think it was in Tampa in January, if I am not mistaken. Mhm. uh, the USA event from, yeah, let's say, just to find it quickly. So I just want to find actually.
Part of the reason why shows like this. Yes, it was.
Yeah, here it is. The Student Action Summit Day 3. Student Action Summit. That's what it's called. So Student 2025 Student Action Summit TP USA. Okay, so he has this huge event. Oh no, look. Wait. When was it? Meghan Kelly demanding the release of the NT files. July. Oh, it was in July. For some reason I thought it was in January. Okay. So in July 2025, he has this huge event called the Student Action Summit in Tampa, Florida. And he brings Meghan Kelly, this woman right here, who is normally she's pro-Israel and pro-Zionism, and he brings Tucker Carlson, who is also against Israel in this new sense, against the government of Israel and Netanyahu and these wars and this influence that they have on the American government, and Dave Smith to do the final debate. So these are two people that spoke very heavily against Israel and against the money that the US gives to Israel and against the influence and all that stuff. And at the end of the last event of the night, of the last day, Dave Smith comes and obliterates Josh Hammer again. Like they already debated, and they debated again, and he destroys him again. And you have at least 50-60% of the people standing up and clapping. And yeah, scary shit for an organization that basically is all about supporting Israel, right? So Charlie gets a lot of shit for this from the donors, especially from the donors, about hosting these anti-Semites and all that stuff. Then a little bit before, by the way, in May, 2nd of May, he writes a piece. He writes a letter, 7-page letter to Netanyahu. Kind of a sometimes it's 7 pages, so there's a lot there, and sometimes it's very lovely, even in the kind of admiring sense, like I will support you until the end and this kind of stuff. It was also sometimes kind of harsh love, and it was sometimes just constructive criticism, right? The letter basically said that guys, we're losing the PR war out here. I don't have answer for these questions that my student, like these kids, these students, and my own following is coming to me with. So the Hasbara, which is basically the propaganda of Israel, is not giving me any good options, and yeah, we're getting destroyed here. I need your help. So basically, please help me do something. and explain yourselves. And sometimes I feel like I am defending Israel more than Israel is defending Israel. This kind of stuff was in the letter. So, but also, I will always be behind you, whatever you choose, blah, 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 blah. This as well was there. So this was on the 2nd of May. Then in July, he has this event where he's hosting all of these very controversial people. And then in August, he has an interview with Megyn Kelly. So now we start seeing kind of the movement to the center from blindly trusting Israel and being supporting Israel to kind of being open to the debate, even if it's not his opinion. He was just hosting these people that had these opinions. He was not changing his opinion. He never did. Up until that point, he never did. And then in August, he has this interview with Megyn Kelly. Things get a bit tense. He speaks about this meeting with Bill Ackman, who is a very influential billionaire, Jewish billionaire, and they have a meeting. Only the conservative influencers, supposedly around 100 million followers between all of them. So it's like that already makes you think like, holy shit, like, am I in those 100 million? Gotta be very careful who you follow to and who you listen to, cause you never know who's paying them behind the scenes. So he was there, and apparently he was getting a lot of shit from Bill Ackman, because he wanted to keep the conversation open, and he wanted to have these debates and be able to host Tucker Carlson and host Dave Smith and all these things. And apparently it was a very tense conversation. Some people say it wasn't tense. Now, of course, Bill Ackman and Josh Hammer and his team, they are saying, no, it wasn't tense at all. He organized it. He blah, blah, blah. And some people say it was actually tense. It doesn't matter. So there was very weird atmosphere in this conversation with Megyn Kelly, who is also a also, to put this clear, like, all of these people, they are not turning against Israel because they think that Israel is doing something wrong to the Palestinians or to the Gazans. This is their group. Megyn Kelly, Tucker, I guess, has some influence there also. Candence and this guy. Well, Dave Smith was before, his old school. And who are we talking? Oh, and Charlie also, of course. So they are just feeling the pressure from their fans, but they still support Israel. They just realize that if they don't have the conversation, or at least compromise a little bit, they're gonna run out of fans. Everybody's gonna leave, and they're gonna go to the people who are able to speak the truth and say, this is why this is happening and how it's happening and everything. So they have a very difficult conversation, or very tense, let's say, not because between them, but both of them kind of criticizing Israel, and him kind of thinking or saying or implying that this is not going well, let's say. And then when are we? August, I guess. Yeah, so basically after the meeting, I guess 2 weeks before he gets killed, I think, he speaks with Megyn Kelly. He has one last podcast with Ben Shapiro, but it's nothing big. I mean, he does push back just a little bit, and Ben gets butthurt, but it wasn't, like, realistically, it wasn't really a heated debate or anything. So then Candace releases this, right? Let's see if we can find the text. Okay, so here we go. So this is the text chain that Candace shared, right? And this is the whole setup. The whole setup is there are, from what I understood, there are 9 people in this chat, including Charlie and including her source, of course. Oh, and no, this oh man, who was this guy? Shit. It was in her last. It was in her last video. This guy. I think it was here.
And what his motivation. Actually, you know, no choice. Rob McCoy was on this text thread.
This guy, Rob McCoy. Let's find out who the fuck is Rob McCoy. Because I don't know. So let's see. Pastor Rob McCoy, the pastor that Charlie Kirk had literally just turned his back on. The same Israeli-owned Christian Zionist still is exposed in this video. So he speaks about Pastor McCoy. Should we listen to that? Here's Pastor McCoy angrily calling those in question the Israeli collection.
Why didn't he check the roof? I don't know. I do know that.
Fuck off.
Chill grifter. These dirtbags that are trying to convince you that there's some Judeo-Christian, like there's going to be anything that aligns with your religion and my religion when your religion believes that Jesus before the gravy train ended for him and every else.
To start a work there. That was his request of me. And I know this, that he believed the Jews had an ancestral right to the land. He believed that Jews are God's chosen people. He believed in the sovereignty of Israel. He also believed Ezekiel 37 that there was to be a political nation first and a spiritual nation second. And so he would be accused of being an anti-Semite because he would separate that you can question the political government of Israel, but you stand with the realization that the Jews are God's chosen people. They have an ancestral right to the land, but you can also, like we do with our own government, call them out when they're wrong. And I was on a text stream with him and Orthodox rabbis and Orthodox believers, and he would lay this out. He would lay it out.
And this is where I would love to see one of those body language experts come on here and just tear this dude a fucking apart. Everything that gosh damn guy just said right there was a lie. You really think that Charlie Kirk was that stupid? Do you think that he was that naive? Do you think that he wasn't starting to realize exactly who these people were? Once you start waking up to that Judeo-Christianity is complete shit, and you could see it in that text message between him and Candace, you could see it in all the text messages that they just released. Charlie Kirk was done, and your fucking gravy train, all of these people leeching off the Charlie Kirk tit, they were just sucking that fucking gravy train jai all the way home, baby, because if Charlie Kirk flipped sides and he no longer wanted to have these assholes in his ear, could you imagine once you wake up and having to get lectured by pricks like this about how...
Okay, so whatever. We know who this Rob McCoy is. He's his pastor, in theory, Christian Zionist, or Christian in theory. He's a Christian pastor, not in theory, but also in practice, of course. So, that is one person who was in the text thread, right? Plus Charlie, plus of course his her source, Candace's source. So Charlie writes, "I just lost another huge Jewish donor. $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm even thinking of inviting Candace. This is to their new event, like the one in July. A new one is coming. I think in November or something. So they're talking about this following event. And somebody who is censored here is black line. It goes ugh. And then Charlie keeps going, says Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Huge. Fucking huge. Mic drops. Fucking everybody's panties dropped. And then somebody writes, we don't even know if this even the same person as the one that said ugh. We just have another person texting saying, please don't invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term, in my opinion. Like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of options. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times. Yeah, it's frustrating that I want people to be able to choose freely and not who you want only. How convenient. So this is basically the text thread, and obviously the big atomic bomb is Charlie's, I don't know if you would call it, because this might be in the heat of the moment. He might just be frustrated. He just hanged up the phone. He was talking with this Jewish donor and he was, well, if you want cancel Tucker, then fuck you, and I'm taking my $2 million with me. Bah, hang up. And he was accelerated and frustrated and just burst out in the group, which actually means that he trusts the people in this group he sees as trustworthy. That he would kind of berate very emotional text, obviously, into this group of people. So Candace goes on also to release the information that Josh Hammer, this other guy who we're talking about, who is just a Zionist journalist, was also part of this text thread.
And Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the #1 funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like time for you guys to wake up and say no more. Draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me. And Jewish donors.
So, yeah, this happened. This text thread happened 2 days before he died. 2 days before he was killed, in the 8th of September, right? So, okay, so that's the Jewish kind of connection, or let's not call it Jewish, let's just call it Israeli, pro-Israel perspective that Charlie had, and how it evolved in the last even 6 months or less since the event in July. I mean, the letter in May kind of acknowledging this, and the event in July confirming that he's definitely looking to have some kind of conversation. He cannot just push these people aside. They need to include this topic in the conversation. And also this conversation with Megyn Kelly, and now a couple days before he died. So there's a lot of so who killed him and why would this gives, of course, Israel motive. But I actually heard that something that actually makes a lot of sense. Like, normally Israel doesn't kill people just like this. Like, first you try to cancel them, you maybe throw a couple of sex abuse charge on him or something, some bullshit like that, try to put him in prison and all this stuff. Like, doesn't look like Mossad. This is not the way that Mossad does things, on the like, to pushback against that argument would be that canceling people is not working anymore. Like even if they would put like they did not Big Headset but the other dude, they did this guy, oh man, what's his name, Matt Waltz, I don't remember, some politician. He has now a podcast. He's also pushing for the Epstein files now. He used to be a politician. He used to be on the line for Secretary of Defense, I think, and Secretary of War now. And then there was a scandal placed on him about some kind of woman rape or misbehave or whatever. And immediately everybody's like, yeah, bullshit, that's bullshit. Nobody believes this kind of sexual abuse charges. People are starting to not believe it. Like, you have to show me a lot of good evidence before I believe you. They done it too many times. And then also the trying to cancel people for any other reason, calling him anti-Semite is not gonna work, Nazi is not gonna work. Like, none of this, like, nothing is working anymore. So yeah, they could try, but maybe they have realized that since Andrew Tate or something, canceling worked a lot until 2000, before COVID. During COVID, yeah, it's where canceling stopped working. Like, you cannot, people saw that you were doing it just to prevent that person from speaking. So only if somebody is famous enough and has something interesting to say is when you suddenly find all these charges that has nothing to do with, of course, just to hide it, obviously. But yeah, so I don't know if Israel, I mean, with the desperation, everybody's leaving, everybody. And Piers Morgan is also one. Like, he left also quite late, but with this kind of reason, like his own people are actually asking these questions and writing in the comments like, dude, what the fuck? And he, after some time, after, yeah, probably over a year and a half, he then decided to question what Israel was doing. And he's also part of that team that changed their mind until now. And Charlie was the last. And yeah, I mean, yeah, of course that gives Israel motive. Did they do it? I mean, you cannot organize, I mean, can you organize a shooting in 2 days just because you hear this? You go like, okay, that's it, now it's time to kill him, and 2 days later, bam, you have all of this takes time to plan, I would assume. So have they been planning it already? Was this later in the 2nd of May some kind of red flag for Netanyahu where he's like, okay, you know what, like, let's start following this dude, let's see what he's talking about in private or something. And then when the time came, they were already kind of ready for it. It's Mossad, man. I believe everything. So, but the FBI, and this is the other problem, the FBI is not, it's like they're doing it on purpose to keep us guessing, to keep us questioning. Just release everything. If you want to stop the conspiracies, nobody wants to believe it's Israel, or believe it's this, like, believe it's that. People are just following the evidence you give and then filling the blanks. And the evidence you give makes no sense at all. So people are basically filling all the blanks with anything. Any kind of, like, a text message becomes, this is how little people have when it comes to Charlie Kirk's case. A simple text message, 2 lines, just explodes the internet. Like, what the fuck? Man, this is the FBI's fault. They need to release everything they have. So it's also interesting that Netanyahu has said already several times, it wasn't me, I promise. Let's see if we can find that. Netanyahu denies killing Kirk. Let's see.
Said that the bigger.
Let's see.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie,
that's how you start.
The faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie. that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization. He encouraged me to make the case directly to the American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. Now, if Charlie disagreed with a policy of mine or a decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of Charlie. This is the essence of a free country. It's exactly what Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people. A few weeks before his death, I spoke to Charlie. I invited him to visit Israel again. And sadly, that won't happen. Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this: Charlie Kirk was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies.
With Qatari
Rest in
funding.
peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing.
Oh my god, this is the best video in the world with Qatari funding. When was this released? September 19. Okay, so this is quite old already. About a week, 9 days after his death. Already saying, no, we didn't kill him. So, you know,
Joseph Goebbels.
I think I spoke about this yesterday. I think I said yesterday I read an article. I read the title of the article that said already second suspect was released, and I assume it was Tyler, and I think I said something yesterday that was in the direction of I think they released Tyler Robinson, so blah blah blah. So that's not true. Tyler Robinson keeps being incarcerated. He's in the possession of the FBI. They have to go to court because he said he doesn't want to sign any kind of confession or whatever, and he actually played not guilty. So man, if Myron is the best when it comes to this. So he he's saying not, he's not guilty. He's pleading, and then there's gotta be a court case, and that's a problem. I mean, there's a lot of course, rumors that he's gonna Epstein himself in the prison, and of course suicide watch and stuff, because that's they killed Thomas Crook, who was the guy who shot Trump in the ear last year. They killed him. There's nothing to bring to court, no lawyers, no really revealing evidence, revealing angle shots, revealing stuff for the court. So Tyler Robinson being alive is definitely a problem for the people that want this to just end, to just believe this what the FBI is saying, and let's move on, forget it, just forget it, and pay attention to this, blah 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 blah, racism, hey, whatever, some tranny did something in the toilet, hey, look. So let's see what happens during the trial. Let's hope that Tyler Robinson doesn't Epstein himself, and anything more that I know I'm gonna of course share, but so far this is the latest news. Is we are waiting for trial. This is the evidence the FBI says they have. Could they be hiding something, so like a slam dunk for the trial? I keep hearing from Myron especially that he doesn't think so, like there's nothing to hide, just I mean, it's not like they have to release it, but if they would release, there's some information that you have to keep kind of confidential, for the trial or whatever. And there's some information that you don't have to, it's kind of a ace under the sleeve, you don't have to tell them, like you don't have to tell your opposition that you have it, but if you do, it's whatever. So there's some information there that you could release without breaking your case or fucking up your case, that would respond and answer to a lot of these conspiracy problems. This bullet, the weapon or whatever, the entry wounds, some information about the when you die, the test after I forgot the word. The test you get after you're dead. Whatever. Of course, it's gonna kill me. I know the word. Obviously, I said it earlier. But anyway, so all of this they could release without fucking up their case in court, and it would answer, like, we wouldn't actually. Nobody would. I don't know, speculate anything about Mossad, about Israel, about anything. But it is actually funny in general, whether they did it or not, or whoever did it. It's funny that somebody gets killed and everybody goes like, Israel. Zero evidence. Like 2 days later, Israel did it. I thought that was that was hilarious to watch. So yeah, I think this is it for Charlie Kirk, and thank you for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow for more news. Was this right? Oh shit, I've been recording with this the whole time. Fuck. What an idiot. Yeah, it makes no sense to change it now. Whatever. Alright. Thanks everybody. Peace.